I think I clapped a little early.
Yeah, with 2 claps, we should be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You know what they call us, you know?
No, I don't know.
All right.
Oh, hello. I didn't see it. I didn't know. God damn
it! Should have beat too long, I say. All right, I'm here. Stop us.
Hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsuben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And 2 good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yo.
And Rose.
Hi.
If you're a first-time listener, Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers. We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that's near and dear to us. Today, we have all played the second case of Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, called Turnabout Airlines. This is the second case in the series, but was originally intended to be the first before they realized this was dumping players into the deep end. So instead, they created the tutorial case, which we played last time. This case is set 2 days before Case 1. In Turnabout Airlines, our hero, Miles Edgeworth, is riding iFly Airlines home and enjoying their fancy in-flight bar when turbulence shakes the plane and knocks him out cold. When he awakes, someone else's wallet is on his person, and upon trying to ride the elevator back up to first class, he discovers the body of Acme Hicks inside. Flight attendant Rhoda Tenero, the narrow road, stumbles upon the scene and assumes Edgeworth is the murderer. Miles must then work through the contradictions of the case, first proving himself innocent of the crime to the crew of the plane, and then proving that Rhoda also couldn't have done it. After landing at the airport and meeting with both Gumshoe and, pause for applause, Franziska von Karma,
Yay!
Dealing with a questionable Borginian art dealer, and exploring multiple levels of a enormous plane, Edgeworth finally puts things together and pins the crime on the sleepy second flight attendant, Cammy Meal. However, the mysteries don't end there, as it becomes clear that Franziska is working with Interpol to catch an international smuggling ring, and Miles attempts to get some much-needed sleep. However, he is called in to help with his next exciting case, a kidnapping. So this was probably the case that I actually remember in the most focus when I picture this game in my mind. Is I remember the airplane case quite a bit. And maybe that's just because it's so early on, but also it's got big fucking airplane and it's gaudy as hell.
Questionably large airplane.
It's so big, and I know we gotta have room for quote-unquote gameplay, but oh my god, this plane has 2 floors that are accessible to passengers, and then a 3rd cargo hold accessible only to staff, which appears to also be 2 stories high at least, because it's got a flight of stairs in it.
Yeah, this plane reminds me of the plane in Snakes on a Plane featuring Samuel L. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all seen that film?
No. Despite paying very close attention to that whole internet hype train for that thing, which, wow, what a microcosm of the internet of the past. But no, despite all that, being and paying attention to every single little piece of marketing that came out for that, I never saw that film.
Rose, have you seen Snakes on a Plane?
No, I've not seen Snakes on a Plane.
All right. So as the only person who here has seen Snakes on a Plane, this is one of those planes that like it looks like where people did Quaaludes. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those lavish fucking CEO planes.
Right.
I really like this setting because it's so unlike anything we've ever done in Ace Attorney. We have not done like on a vessel, like we haven't had like a train mystery, we haven't had a plane mystery,
Right.
and we have not had a boat mystery.
Yeah, why haven't we done a train yet?
Because that'd be, you know what? There's more investigations to come out. Maybe
I guess
we'll be on a
you're
plane
right.
or a train, but we also haven't done a boat, and I do resent that. So. This one, I really like the setting. It's very memorable. I can close my mind and I can 3D spin the map inside my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Here's the thing: is I did the first part of this case while like I had just like a YouTube video on, and now I can only remember the YouTube video. I've like fucking pushed the front part of this case out of my mind.
That's what happens.
This has never happened before. Normally I have perfect memory and I'm never wrong, but like, I guess watching a Twitch stream caused it to be shoved out of my frontal lobe, except for the fact that I think Rhoda's kind of neat. I think she's a nice lady who hates her job and wants to kill every passenger on the plane.
Wait, I thought she loved her job and talked about how it was her life and how much she loved it and needed it multiple times.
She has the customer service smile. Did you, in her portrait?
You know, deep down she's lying.
Fair enough.
She has a twitch in her smile, and that's the twitch of someone who was going to claim a life, but not this life because she's actually innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Our rando today is Agent. I don't remember the last name. Hicks.
Ackby Hicks. Yeah.
Ackby Hicks. Is that a pun? What is that?
I'm looking at the like Wikipedia page here for him, and it looks like in Japanese his name is mostly the same. He has Ackby, which may come from the Japanese word for yawn, akubi. So that could be a reference to the real killer, which, you know, we'll get into it there. But with Cammy Meal, or Hicks, this also theorizes may come from hiccup, which can mean a minor setback. I don't know if I quite buy that one.
That's tough.
That's kind of where we are with Ackby Hicks. So he's fine. I mean, he's a murder victim. Usually the murder victims don't get too much of a name pun.
We don't get to interact with him that often.
Exactly. We bump into him and that's about it.
I appreciate that as soon as someone was like, hey, there's been a murderer on board and you're the closest person. Did Rhoda arrest me? Did she, like, have the handcuffs?
Yeah, because you get handcuffed after this.
Handcuffed to his seat in the first sequence.
Yeah.
Miles gets accused of being the murderer. He gets handcuffed to the chair by the flight attendant who thinks he did it.
We got a unique sprite for him with his hands behind his back. Cuffed.
There you go, too. Miles fans. Congratulations.
And now we are introduced to one of possibly the most uncomfortable characters I've seen in a while.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about this. Oh, also...
let's just get it out of the way.
Dear listener, I also want to set the scene for you here for me.
Sure.
So I did this entire case on an airplane. I was traveling and I did this case physically on airplanes. It was not as nice as the airplane depicted. Let me tell you.
When you told me that this was going to be like a murder on a plane, I imagine a plane that looks like a toothpaste tube that got shoved into the air.
Yeah, that's what I was on. My knees hurt. Right. There was turbulence. At least once, however, I did manage to get a turbulence bump at the same time as there was a turbulence bump on the DS, and that was fun. I felt good about that, and then I felt nauseous about it.
If you get turbulence in the game, you get turbulence for real.
Yeah, I love that Miles's response to turbulence is to faint, because
Yeah.
that's what kings do. You faint for 10 minutes.
So that you can get framed for murder.
Yeah. Well, no, he thought it was, anything rumbles vaguely and he just passes the fuck out. But yeah, I was the sleep deprived motherfucker on this airplane. I was method acting with Miles. So yeah, let's talk about this guy, because I am glad other people also were uncomfortable.
Yes.
So Mr. LeBlanc.
Yeah, Zinc LeBlanc, you are introduced to him first as a loudmouthed, like, other passenger on the plane who shows up and complains that after, like, Edgeworth first says, like, here's why I couldn't have done it, Rhoda. Here's why I could not have been the murderer. And she's like, well, I guess I'll let you out of the cuffs so that you can investigate, but I'm going to follow you the whole time. And LeBlanc, Mr. LeBlanc shows up, and he immediately is like, he's tricking you. How could you possibly fall for this? Like, don't let the murderer out and about on the plane. Keep him locked up. And,
his character
something.
art. What's up, Rose?
He's something. I'll tell you what.
His art does not paint a very good art depiction of Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. Because, like, let's be real. Virginia is definitely supposed to be, like, one of those fake Eastern European countries.
Every media has a fake tiny Eastern European country. That's fine.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wasn't sure what he was supposed to be, like, a racist caricature of. Like, was he supposed to be Romani, or was he supposed to be Jewish? Like,
I can't fucking
either way,
tell you.
really bad. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Both bad.
It's really hard to know exactly what was going on here, but I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great.
And he talks about money all the time, like,
yeah,
buddy.
Time is money. This game has I'm selling my art. I got to sell my art.
Yeah, some questionable character designs here.
They should have just made him French. Like,
that would have been funny. Totally... Or he's selling stolen artifacts. British.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, LeBlanc is that witness he's the hostile witness. And, like, he's like, oh, I saw the murder victim go down the elevator. And you were there, you fuck. And you go, like, I will simply destroy you with facts and logic. And then you use your facts and logic against him. And he goes, how could I have been so wrong about timing a simple math problem? I don't like him.
Hey, time zones are hard, though. I did miss a work meeting.
Right. Hey, listen, time zones are hard. I don't like this man. I like you, Rose. You're my friend. Yeah. I don't like this man.
Yeah, the last, like, we can mostly leave him in the dust, thankfully, because aside from this one moment and one other one later in the case, he's actually fairly inconsequential to the case.
Yeah.
And the last thing is also that is not great is they are constantly doing the broken English thing and having him switching back to speaking in Borginese, and then, when he gets super angry,
just uses wingdings.
Yeah, they do the wingdings thing just like they did in Apollo Justice, and so yeah, it's just kind of a messy.
It was more
caricature, and you're just like, what am I supposed to be feeling about this? But it just doesn't feel good, unfortunately.
Bad is how I'm feeling about it.
It was more digestible in the Apollo Justice case. I can't explain why, but it simply was.
Well, that's because nobody was
looking like that.
Nobody was looking like that and talking like that.
Because if you looked at Machi and was like, that kid's European, I would have been like, yeah, absolutely. That's a European kid. This man, though, uncomfortable to point him out. I don't want him to be on the plane.
So thankfully we leave him behind after this.
The other passengers of the plane straight up don't matter. One of them is scared of flying, another one is drunk, and a third one's eating steak.
God, I wish that was me. The drunk, not the steak. I would take both, though.
Yeah. You investigate, and eventually, like, another stewardess shows up. Her name is Cammy Meal.
So I want to share a problem I had, which is I'm exhausted, right? So I read her name and I'm like, oh, Melee, like,
That's what I thought.
So I'm like, Cammy Melee? I don't understand what this is.
It's a Street Fighter reference.
It's a fucking Super Smash Brothers reference.
Oh, I got over it, but I can't unread it like that now. It's too late.
Hammy Meal, the ultimate stoner GF, is in this fucking plane, and she's the only other stewardess. And she's like, hey, Rhoda, you're being called to the front of the plane because you never actually asked the captain for permission to let Miles investigate. I guess I'll take over watching Miles. And Miles is like, I don't give a shit about women, and then moves on.
Okay,
he really doesn't.
we need to bring up the one quote. I don't know if anybody investigated the flight attendant's room before you actually are allowed to go in. And Rhoda says, this door leads to the flight attendant's room, but please understand it's off limits to unauthorized personnel. And Edgeworth, in blue text, thinking to himself, the room is giving off the scent of women's perfume. One would think that perfume would smell great. However, to me, it simply smells. Not that I have any interest in what lies behind this door.
The most, like...
Miles.
They're just leaning into it fully now.
Girls are smelly, and I don't like them.
Girls are smelly, and they're in the way of my murder investigation.
There is a scene where Cammy is like, oh, because, like, Rhoda, like, likes you, Miles, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, aren't you keeping an eye on her? And he's like, of course I am. I don't want her to escape. It's so good.
Yeah, it's genuinely one of the best moments of the case. Yeah, and Cammy is just like shocked. She's like, "Excuse me."
Cammy's got her tits out. I don't like Cammy. All right. I would be
except for, if it wasn't for the tits out, I would actually love her design.
It's the two things combined, and also like I don't know. Listen, she's no April May.
No, obviously she's no April May. She's supposed to be the stoner GF who pickpockets your wallet when you leave the room to order Domino's. And you let her do that, because that's the kind of relationship you guys are in. I
guess.
So, Cammy Meal, she's apparently hooking up with the captain. Yeah. The captain's whipped. Speaking of whips.
Yeah.
Francisca!
Eventually the plane touches down.
Right.
And your two best friends show up, Francisca von Karma and Gumshoe.
And she tries to arrest you immediately, even though she knows that you didn't do it.
Yeah, but you were accused, and she goes, all right, sweet, hell yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot. And later we discover, of course, because she knows that, what's-his-name was an Interpol agent, there's absolutely no reason Miles has killed this guy, and he's totally innocent.
Right.
She just gives it a spin anyways.
Give it a shot. Maybe it is what happened.
Yeah, she's like, oh, might as well.
So, like, you debate Rhoda, then you debate LeBlanc, and then you have to debate Francisca. You don't have to debate Gumshoe, because he'll do whatever you say at any moment.
That's true.
I liked it when you were hanging out with Rhoda Tenera, though, and she was, like, your buddy, and she's always like, I still don't trust you, because I think you did it. That's fair. And then when Cammy becomes your buddy, she says nothing, because she's totally fucking useless. And or she's the killer and doesn't want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Gumshoe shows up, it's like, hey, Miles, how's it going? It's me, Gumshoe. And Miles is like, oh yes, the IQ in the room has dropped a single percentage because you're here now, or some other rude shit he's gonna say.
They both keep getting hit by Francisca so much, it's not as bad in this case.
Yeah, but like, then my other issue shows up, which is I'm getting hit by Francisca a lot. And she's not even whipping, like, the actual murder accused. She can't even whip Cammy.
Yeah, she just keeps hitting, either Miles or Gumshoe. There is a scene where she's like, Miles, I demand that you deal with this flight attendant. And Miles is like, why are you not... Can you please do this for me?
Yeah.
Can
you please whip her?
You're the one managing this investigation.
Well, listen, because Cammy's got her tits out, and Francisca can't handle that, which I respect. But
wait, what are you implying? That she can't look at that?
I mean, she can, I guess, if she wants to, but
I would like it if she whipped this victim in particular, because I'm tired of being whipped. We get to go back on the plane, though. Dude, I actually really like this plane. I don't know why. It's very, like...
It's a lot better than the redacted airlines plane that I was on.
The plane's really fascinating because the first half, like, you get the upper, first class area, and then you get the lounge area. Those are like the two areas. You briefly get to see the airport when you land, and then when you get to go back in, you get to see both the staff quarters and then also the cargo hold. And I love the very first scene when you get to go into the cargo hold, because you've got everybody standing there staring straight ahead. Again, I've already said this before, but it's like a Monkey Island bit. They're all just staring forward as they're standing at the top of this flight of steps, and you press A to go to the next bit of dialogue, and Gumshoe just fucking books it down the stairs going, "Wee! Look at this big room!" It's so
It's
funny.
very good.
Big room, big room.
So yes, you have this huge cargo hold with all of the various art pieces that LeBlanc is shipping from Virginia over to the U.S. And we get to do some, like, not like Tetrising, but like figuring out which piece of art was loaded on when, so that you can discover and realize that one of them is a forgery, because of course it is.
Yeah,
I'm proud that I was able to do this because I got no sleep for 3 days basically. So the fact that I did this on an airplane with like no guide, I was just like, here I go. I was like, wow, I'm so smart. I'm a genius.
Meanwhile,
that's how all Ace Attorney games should make you feel in the beginning.
The secret is to be really sleep deprived and then just do it.
Francisco von Karma almost killed me this time around in the cargo hold because I couldn't solve one of her puzzles, and I was like, "What do you mean? Obviously, I know how the dude died. It's so obvious, but I don't have the like." This is the moment in the game where I got like really brushed up against the rails of the mechanics, because like I found out I saw how the dude died. I physically saw it, and then I fucking could not express to the room how he died because I didn't link up the two pieces of logic.
Oh, in the right order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
had
just
that
like
problem
sitting there
in the first half where I was like, obviously, Mr. LeBlanc messed up the time zones, but like I wasn't presenting them in the right, areas, basically. Mm-hmm. So always my problem, jumping ahead.
Too smart for Ace Attorney.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
there
not.
are these like puzzles that are introduced, and this is like, it's kind of strange because we don't have the luxury of like being able to, like, I find that in other Ace Attorney games I could just save wherever I wanted, and that was fine. But like when you save in this game, it specifically says, "Oh, you want to save? All right, you're back at the title screen." And it's like, well, fuck, I didn't want to go back to the title screen. I just want to make a save right here before. What's up?
Is that not what happens when you save games?
Well, when I saved the other Ace Attorney games, they gave me the option to save, and then I just kept going.
Oh.
That's because you played the newer version.
Oh, you had quick save.
Yeah, I've been quick saving this entire fucking time.
Oh, well, we didn't have that back in the day.
I know, I don't have it right now. I'm kind of miffed. I want to quick save.
This is how I've been doing it the whole time, Tiago.
Wait, no, the trilogy should let you quick save on the fucking 3DS.
Nope.
Really?
It bumps you back to the title.
Yep. But now once you hit continue, it takes you right back to where you saved.
Yeah. It's pretty
exact
quick.
Instant where you saved.
Yeah.
So, but it's one or two extra buttons.
Like, I'm about to make a huge decision. I better go back to the title scrreen for a second.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been doing it.
In fucking the Switch, you could just quick save. It's really nice. I didn't realize
it's a luxury of the modern version.
So
fucking silver spoon Tiago over here.
Hey, yeah, I solved the mysteries just like everyone else. Okay, the fuck? I'm just as much as an investigator as you are, Des.
Back in my day, we went back to the fucking title screen.
I'm not going back to the fucking title screen.
It's an extra button press. Anyway, you were saying, Tiago.
Yeah, I'm like caught against the guardrails of the game once again because I'd figured out the problem, but because Miles Edgeworth has to like basically sit there and deduce it out, and I can't leave due to no quick saving, I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just figure it out or whatever. And I haven't died yet. Thank God. But I feel like that day is coming soon where I die as Miles Edgeworth, because it's so much easier to die as him, I guess.
See, I've been having such an easier time because the mistake penalty amount has been so low.
Thank God.
Like, I have a lot of health.
They want you, like, I feel like they want you to hear their silly dialogue more than the other games where they were like, "Oh, you fucking dumbass, you fucking picked that answer. You're so stupid. Takes half your health bar."
Yeah,
interestingly enough,
that is true. The dialogue is funnier during the mistakes.
The game actually does have more bad endings here than any other game previously. They've got a bunch of different unique dialogue for if you fail at different points in the game. So
I imagine that if I failed here, like Rhoda or I would get arrested.
Right, yeah, it changes depending on who's currently the most under suspicion, that sort of thing. But I'm trying to see if there were any really creative ones. So, but there's one where Chamomile gets away. So
she just dips?
Yeah, after Hicks's phone is found, if you fail after the phone is found, Meal leaves under the pretense of needing to work another flight and is then never seen or heard from again.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get away from that, I'd definitely just be like, fucking, alright, next plane, I'm just getting off at whatever country I'm at. Right? Like, I'm...
Yeah.
I live here now.
I live here now. Yeah, Chamomile, I do like her as a villain because, I did not think she was going to be the murderer. Deadass, I was going to point the finger at either the captain or LeBlanc. Because I was like, oh, LeBlanc's a Borginian art dealer, and this is a case about smuggling.
They kind of faked you out a little bit with the cloth that matches his hat. Like,
exactly.
I was like, wow, this is maybe too obvious. Because, like, he's really annoying, but also, like, I don't want to look at him. I put it away. Yeah.
I was hoping the captain would get a talk sprite so I could accuse him of murder, but he didn't.
Francisca just kills him, like, off screen, and you and Gumshoe just hear it and, like, run away.
Yeah. Like a horror movie.
It's so just good. Like, those are my favorite little Gumshoes.
So, like, at a certain point when, like, you manage to divert the blame off yourself, like, the evidence starts pointing to Rhoda, and this is all, like, a plan by Chamomile to get her arrested, so that, like, it turns out this entire fucking event was an attempt to blame it all on Rhoda, but due to the turbulence in the air and you being there, you got wrapped up in this. I think that this is a really interesting case because there's a lot of moving pieces, but I can also see how this case fits into, like, because, like, you start off this case with, like, Miles Edgeworth being, like, 2 days ago on that fateful evening where I investigated the smuggling case. Mm-hmm. And it's like, all right, well,
it's almost like every evening for Edgeworth is fateful.
Yeah. I think he
sounds like you had a fateful evening, but for me, it was Tuesday.
That fateful evening, once I got written up for a parking ticket, I knew then that my day was going to be ruined.
Oh, this poor man.
I knew my prosecution career was over.
On the airplane, he's playing chess by himself.
And he cheats.
He's definitely replicating the game that was described.
What about that guy with the whole fucking bar at his fucking seat?
That's just me.
That guy was drunk. He couldn't have been the murderer. The guy with the steak, though, he could be the murderer.
The chess game that Edgeworth was recreating was absolutely the one from Game 1, Case 5.
Yeah.
Which is the one that you get to, when you inspect it in Edgeworth's office, they describe it as like, oh, there's a bunch of red pieces and a bunch of blue pieces, and all the red pieces are surrounding the one blue spiky piece, on the chessboard.
I just really love this specific.
I was gonna say, what an incredibly heterosexual game.
So, like, the thing about it though is that, like, in this particular chess game that he's building on the plane, there's like too many fucking knights. Right? Like, there's like
Rondo literally goes, I don't think this is how it's supposed to work, and he's like, shut up.
Shut up. It's like, the blue team only has one pawn, there's not even a king, and there's like 10 knights.
It's a metaphor, guys. It's a fucking metaphor.
I know, listen, I know.
No, that's what Edgeworth wants you to think.
Fucking Edgeworth, premier perfume hater.
He also Rhonda's suitcase or whatever. That is genuinely preposterous. And he he hates it so much.
This Lisa Frank looking ass suitcase that she's designed.
I feel bad about this because I was genuinely like, Rhoda, it's okay. You don't have to sell yourself out. Like, you should find better.
Also, $1,200 a flight. She was buying one of those every flight to make sure that they were.
How much does she get paid?
I don't know. It's like, holy shit! It's a luxury.
Well, lots of people get paid more than me. But like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was a different time.
You're right. With that airplane, maybe.
Like, that airplane also had like its own fucking gift shop inside the plane. So.
Do you like Mr. iFly?
No.
You hate Mr. iFly?
I hate airplanes
so much. Here's the thing: is that I'm sitting up in my chair now because I got really
corporate
mad about
mascots.
So this specific corporate mascot is like, this was made specifically in the mid 2000s, and you can tell that it was made in the mid 2000s because they capitalize on the whole like Apple naming convention of iFly, where it's a lowercase I and a capital F.
When everything was like I whatever, I run, I
piss, I die. Like
I die, piss again.
In that order?
In that order. And like you could see Miles Edgeworth going, don't people know how to capitalize letters these days? And I was just like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Miles.
He didn't even say that, though.
He did say that. If you interact with one of the pieces, he does say that.
Oh my god, what a bastard.
This is not something I made up. This is something that he did and I saw.
I mean, you're right. I wasn't gonna say it's not something he would say, but if he says it, I believe you.
The mascot is a little tanuki, though.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a sloth.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the graphic right now. It's a little vague, I will say, but it kind of has like the raccoon style face. So I assumed because of flying that it was a tanuki.
I assumed it was a sloth because it had to do with Cammy Meal, who's very sloth-like. Isn't she holding a sloth, like a stuffed sloth, the entire time?
No, it's still the mascot, but he just has longer limbs because it's like a teddy bear.
Speaking of things that Cammy has, why does she get bubbles when you start her breakdown sequence? Why does she start blowing bubbles? Did I miss something?
You know when you're like sleeping in a cartoon and you have bubbles come out of your nose?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the Japanese, like you know how the Japanese, like what's the word for it? Like the visual shorthand for somebody who's sleeping is the snot bubble, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird that she started blowing bubbles. I was like, girl, just smoke a cigarette. It's okay. It's like
the
idea is that she's 70s. You can do it.
I think the idea is that she's been faking it this whole time. She's not actually been sleepy. She's been blowing bubbles with like her little bubble wand to fake that she is sleepy.
I see.
And that's what every single time you've seen her sleeping the whole time, she's just been faking it to get out of answering questions and then blowing bubbles to fake the snot bubble, you know.
All right, now see, this is why I need friends to explain things to me. Now I get it.
That's my read on it. I could be off base, but that's how I read it.
I mean,
yeah, that's what I was guessing.
That's what I read. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to all gang up on Rose here.
Listen, you can't.
We all got it except for you.
You cannot. I accept no blame for anything I mess up. Because I didn't sleep for 3 days and I was on an airplane.
You have a perfectly valid excuse.
I was fucked up, everybody. So it's not my fault.
So like when you have to figure out that how the victim died, and it turns out he was pushed off of the top of the staircase in the cargo hold, and the fact that this cargo hold has enough like height to kill a man is insane.
Yeah,
like.
Really makes you think
how
big this fucking cargo hold actually is.
That's like 3 stories.
Yeah.
That's like a large fucking cargo hold. And then like you have to investigate LeBlanc's statue after having another argument with him because God fuck him. Like apparently he has to show up in every goddamn segment of this. And you reveal the statue and it's like I don't even know how to describe this statue. It looks like Aztec. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of Aztec-esque. Yeah.
And then you have to reveal to LeBlanc that it's a fake, and he fucking dies on the inside, and I'm like, aha, idiot.
Uh-huh.
And then you find out that, like, oh yeah, Camille can speak Borginese, she's the translator. And it's like, oh, so she forged the documents for this statue. That's fake. And it's part of the smuggling thing. And Cammy goes, maybe, I don't know. she does the boy thing, and then, like, fuck it.
I want to bring attention to the moment then in which LeBlanc falls because he insists that the police get out of their way so that he can check on his valuables and get them off the plane. And they're like, sorry, the investigation's still going on. And so LeBlanc charges an officer, bounces off of him, tumbles over the banister.
Oh, right,
and
this fucking
falls.
thing.
And he falls over, and he's about to plummet, down all the way, all 2 to 3 stories or whatever it is, through this cargo hold. But he falls instead on his statue, and it cushions his fall. And then you have to prove, that the statue wasn't here. Guy could have fallen the whole way. That's how Ackby died. But when LeBlanc falls, it goes black and white and slow-mo. And it's like, and then Edgeworth is like, brain blast, and he like goes into logic mode, and you have to piece together like, oh, LeBlanc is doing the exact same thing that happened to Ackby, and that's how he died. And it's just so funny to me. I don't know. I really found the whole black and white slow-mo bit for you to like piece together that, he fell and hit his head.
Yeah, like,
he hit his head so hard and he died.
And while you and Francisca logic that out, Gumshoe was like, hey, should we check on that guy? Is he okay?
Just a reminder, as somebody who works for a neurologist, that if you get a head injury, you need to go to the fucking doctor.
Yeah, if somebody hits you in the head with a fire extinguisher, you should listen to Dess and go to a doctor.
What fucking got me is the fact that, like, while LeBlanc is falling and you have to deduce this out, I knew as soon as LeBlanc started falling, I was like, the victim fell to his death. That makes sense. But I have to gamify this. I need to put the right words in the right slots in order to fucking get this correctly. And I'm like,
there's still a narrative you have to get through. A story that they're writing.
I was just sitting there being like, obviously I know how he died, just let me through, you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
You're shaking the jail bars of your Minecraft cell.
That is not how the saying goes, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm in Minecraft jail all the time.
Yeah, you're shaking the bars and saying, let me out.
I am still just Rose in a Minecraft jail. Or something.
So LeBlanc falls, he's fine. We look at the art pieces, they're forgeries. And then Cammy brings up the most logical argument I've ever seen from a witness. All this evidence is circumstantial. You need something to actually stick. You could get me on the smuggling thing, you can't get me for the murder thing. Right. And Edgeworth is legit like, fuck yeah, you're right. Shit, god damn it. And even Francisca's like, alright, time to arrest Rhoda then. And then you're like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, she's got more of a case against her than she does. And then she starts to walk away, and then you get to hear the, hold it! And then Edgeworth is like, I'll find the cell phone that was missing from this guy. And it is at this point that I realized that Miles Edgeworth has no idea how the fuck to use a cell phone. Because when you find the fucking cell phone, there's a camera on it, and he goes, wow, a camera lens. Can this take photos, Francisca? And I'm like, my sibling in Christ, if something has a camera lens on it, it makes it you can deduce the fact that this thing can take a fucking picture. I have to deduce a
very niche deduction system. It has nothing to do with cameras.
Listen, if I can look at a statue and deduce that it was put in there after another piece of luggage, or that the statue is fake, it stands to reason I can look at a phone and deduce that if it has a camera lens, this lens must be used for something, maybe even photos, like a camera. I'm just like, come on, Miles, you can't be this inept with technology. What are you, the Dutch? The Dudge. I said the Dudge. I'm sorry, everybody's name's the
Changing
Dudge.
the group chat name to the Dudge.
I would have let it go if you hadn't brought it up. I would have just pretended it didn't happen.
So Tiago's like, so I was on a deserted island. Was the Dudge there?
Oh, we played this game during the Q&A episode. Who would you bring to your deserted island? Obviously, Dudge.
Cammy Meal. She'd kill me. And I could just I'd go to heaven.
You could get killed by a better woman.
Who's a better woman to get killed by?
Most of them.
Any of
Franziska
them.
von Karma is here.
Franziska von Karma wouldn't murder me because she's too much of a prosecutor goody two shoes. So she's out. What's that red-haired motherfucker from Case 3? Daisy? What's her
Dahlia?
name? Dahlia!
Buddy!
You what? Listen, she would have
I thought you meant
poisoned me.
Lana.
Like my insides would have been boiled by her. Like at least the fucking Cammy had the sense to push me and make my death instant. Like fucking Dahlia would poison me and cut me up into little bits.
Eating Meanie shoots a guy. That's fair.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, she's an occultist.
She's not though.
Not the fun kind.
Not the fun kind.
Yeah. So Cammy Meal has put the cell phone in Rhoda's locker. So this phone, as Franziska calls the phone, that rings. You have to run through the plane and get up to the staff room, and you find the cell phone in Rhoda's locker. And Franziska's like, "See, you thought you had it, but nope, it was Rhoda all along."
Dumbass.
She does call me that. But obviously this was a ploy to frame Rhoda once again.
Yes, and it's at this point then that you use the photos on the camera, which, interestingly enough, like Franziska just like airdrops them from the phone over to hers,
Realism.
despite the LCD screen being broken.
What I like to imagine is that what I thought was she was going to do was take out the SIM card and put the SIM card into her phone, and then just like view the photos from there. But she like pulls out like a Game Boy link cable or whatever,
Right?
and fucking transfers them, and it's like, how the fuck did you do that?
Is Franziska like secretly become like a techie over the last like couple cases or something?
She had to for this case, you
She
know.
was
Yeah, I guess she's
never,
been working with
like-
Interpol. She's got to learn, you know.
Her being like technologically inept was never a plot point, so I guess she could know how to do it.
I mean, it makes sense. She's like, quote unquote, Edward's younger sister, so her
Yeah.
knowing
Even though she calls
more
herself
than
the
him,
older
kind of
sister.
thing. Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
So
And then we get a
so-
totally innocuous photo.
seemingly,
A seemingly innocuous photo. Like, this photo looks normal as hell. Yeah, I can't fucking tell if anything's happening in it.
And this is the part where you just start clicking random things.
okay. So you both had just a little bit of trouble with this one.
I couldn't figure out what was going on. I legitimately the solution to this puzzle is one of the boxes is only like the labels are only in Borginian, but I couldn't tell because I just thought, man, the resolution is bad on this screen.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I mean, even I was like, it took me an extra half second, and I had a guide with me, and I was like, wait a minute. I think that's just low resolution. Is that English or not? Oh, okay. I guess it is intended to be Borginian.
Dead ass, I just clicked on the first fucking box I saw, and that was the right one.
There you go. Sometimes you just get lucky.
Sometimes you're just right, and that's how you solve the problem. So he clicked the box and he goes, "Oh, obviously, you got the cloth from the Borginian box," and it's like, she brings up a totally valid point, which is, I was a murderer in this. Hypothetically, I was a murderer in this situation. Wouldn't I just went through the nearest box and grabbed a cloth? It's like, well, if you're a murderer looking for a box of something to use, wouldn't you go for the English bed sheets? And it's like, I guess, but this is also kind of flimsy, dude. I don't know about this one.
It's enough to freak her out, so she cracks
She breaks
and
down
confesses.
and confesses. Yeah. So Cammy has her breakdown animation in which bubbles fill the screen.
Yeah, she's like,
and
like halfway through her like sleeper persona, she like turns sicko mode and starts blowing bubbles at you, and they're like really aggressive bubble blowing too. Like she's like aiming for my head, and it's really obnoxious. But they like pop like gunshots, and I'm like, whoa, Jesus.
Yeah, she's like firing her little bubble gun at you, kind of thing. Yeah, it's
What is
fun.
she? A Splatoon character?
Yeah. So that's enough to do it. That's enough to do it. She breaks down, and Francisca's like, okay, well, good enough for me. I'll book her. And they take Chamomile down to the precinct. Edgeworth and Gumshoe get to talk a little bit. And Rhoda says thank you to Edgeworth. Thanks for proving me innocent. And she's like, please take one of my suitcases as a gift. And he's like,
No.
okay. Through gritted teeth.
This suitcase will appear in the background of his office in some later game. That's a Rose prediction.
Oh,
and then you get to... Oh, go ahead.
I forgot. Very funny note. Complete aside. If you investigate his seat with Gumshoe, he's like has like a law book, and Gumshoe's like, "Wow, you're reading a law book even on a plane?" And he goes, "Yeah, of course." And then you open it up, and there's a Steel Samurai manga in there. And,
that's very good.
And Gumshoe's like, "Hey, what's this?" And
I
fucking Edgeworth is like, "Don't look at that. Don't look at that." Oh, whenever given the opportunity to progress the game, I immediately turn around and start investigating every other object.
Well, I must have missed it because I usually go around and click on interest points to see what people say, but I just got the chess piece thing, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's all there is.
Well, no, the chess piece was in the lounge. This was at his actual seat. I think it was during the...
I thought the chess piece was at his seat. I must have gotten them mixed up.
Nah, chess piece was in the lounge. I'm 3D spinning the model of this area within my mind.
Okay.
And I can see every single point of interest.
Ben just sounded so skeptical.
I was like, okay, Cumberbatch.
Hey, whoa, don't do that to me.
Yeah, it was your mind palace.
Alright, I'm going into my...
there?
It's more like my mind trailer. Like, it's just a trailer. And inside my mind trailer, there's Miles Edgeworth there, smoking a pipe going, I don't smoke, and then I leave the mine trailer. That's it. It's over. Yeah. Sorry, I had to interrupt with that fact about Miles Edgeworth. What were you saying, Ben?
And then you get to talk to Von Karma. You talk to Francisca, and you're like, "So what are you doing at Interpol? What are you doing?" And she's like, "I can't tell you anything." But she's like, "You might meet the agent soon that I'm working with at Interpol." And he's like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Can't tell you that either. Bye." It's like, thanks for the cryptic messages, Francisca. And then, yes, you, to wrap up the case, then it fades to black, and Edgeworth gets a phone call at an undisclosed time. And a man named Ernest Amano, calls Edgeworth and says, "Please help. My son's been kidnapped." And presumably that's the setup for the next case.
Now
Edgeworth is just like straight up
anything else except for kidnapping.
Yeah, he's just straight up getting called by random people like, "Help me with my son being kidnapped."
Help me with
I'm a prosecutor. What am I supposed to do?
Is this the first time that a case left on a cliffhanger for another case? Because I don't recall this ever happening.
You mean like this little teaser for the next one?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I
feel like it's happened before, but I can't pull up an example.
I don't recall straight up being introduced to a character from the next case in the case
right.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Like this seems like I remember when that happened. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I was like, all right, fair enough.
Did everybody see the cameo characters in the airport?
Yeah, like a fucking gunshot, yeah.
That's what we all said.
Like a Macaulay Culkin trap, but yeah, I saw it. Like I saw it after it hit me.
I guess that's a compliment because it's effective.
Do you know who we're talking about, Rose?
I saw the lunch lady from well, I think I saw the lunch lady from...
No, that was... Well,
It was her company.
It
It was
was
not
company,
her, but it was
okay.
her company. Yeah.
I
No,
was
we're
like,
talking
wow,
about-
that's the same lunch company.
We're talking about the other character.
Salmonella was sitting by the window.
Oh, you know what? I actually didn't talk to that guy.
Good. Your body knew to avoid him.
I tried, and I just kept accidentally clicking on the little kid, and so I said, fuck you, and I left.
So, if you like overhear what he says, he's like, "Wow, this lunchbox is so elite. I'm gonna fucking make a new story for this." And Miles Edgeworth just goes, "A new Steel Samurai, interesting," and then walks away.
I hate that. That guy was my most hated character from the first series, so it's good I didn't see him.
Isn't he your most hated character from Ace Attorney ever?
So far, my most hated character from Ace Attorney ever so far.
That's
Valid.
fair. I can't think of anyone else I hate more. Like, it's definitely him.
The Doctor.
It's Dr. Hottie is the second
Dr.
place.
Hottie is a close second.
They're the same character, it's just that one of them speaks elite speak, which is slightly more obnoxious.
Rose, you can't see me right now, but I'm snapping my finger.
Thanks.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
If Doctor spoke some obnoxious cyber speak language, I'd hate him too. Well, the same amount, I would say.
Yeah, I hate them both. I do hate them both extremely. Don't get me wrong.
So this is the second case in which we've gotten a cameo from another character. Sorry, I just started opening my water bottle to take a sip. I'm a little thirsty.
Uh-huh.
Alright, took my sip. This is the second case, and we have our second cameo. The first case was that attorney that we always beat at the beginning of the game. What is his name? Ouchie?
Ouchie,
Winston Payne.
Winston
Payne.
Winston Payne
Winston
in
Payne.
English.
Japanese.
We'll get there with Ouchie. Don't worry. You're not wrong.
We saw Winston Payne as our cameo for the first case, and then the second case we got Salmonella, which is like objectively
Hardly. He's just a background. He doesn't even turn around.
I mean, Winston fucking doesn't do anything. He just says one line and then that's it. So like a cameo
Instantly
is a cameo.
proven wrong and disappears.
What I'm saying is that a cameo is a cameo. All right. So now I'm expecting every case to have a cameo, and if it doesn't, I'm writing somebody up. I'm writing up.
You're like the kind of person. You sound like the kind of person who gets mad when there's nothing at the end of a Marvel movie.
I wish you would beat me over the head rather than say that statement.
That's pretty harsh.
That's the harshest thing you've ever said to me, Dess. Oh my god.
Alrighty.
I'm kidding. Listen.
This, I would say that the investigations games are, or at least the first one, we'll find out when we get to 2, but at least the first one is more prone to those, what you might call like fan service cameos than other games. So we shall see, won't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Apollo Justice was so cameo that the whole game revolved around the cameo.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I've been feeling like the cameos so far have been extremely like backgroundy and tasteful. So far, I've only seen like 2, but still.
Apollo Justice was made for the cameo of one man only, and then
exactly.
like he became 50%. Whereas these cameos are just like a one-liner, and then you walk away, and it's also a one-liner you can just straight up miss, and that's fine. That's how a cameo should be.
Yeah, I'm okay with cameos as long as they're not like, you know.
We don't want another
Steal
Apollo
the thunder
Justice.
of the main character of the game.
Like if
whose name is upon the box.
For example, if I talked to Winston Payne and in this first case and I didn't know who he was, I'd never known anything, that interaction would still be funny. It would still be funny that this other prosecutor is like, "Oh, I'll help you, Miles," and Miles is like, "Of course. I don't know who that is." Like, that would still be hilarious. Right. It's just also, it's funnier if it's Winston Payne, but it's still good, even if you don't know. And that's probably what a cameo should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think Capcom was doing another Apollo Justice game.
Yeah.
We're all sitting here being like, damn, now we must warn Apollo one more time. Meanwhile, Miles Edgeworth is here getting accused of murder on a plane.
I gotta go back. He just passes the fuck out. Is this what he normally does on the airplane?
Well,
Like,
no, I assume
anytime there's like an earthquake or something like that, any kind of like shaking,
Yeah.
he disassociates so much that everything just blanks out.
Yeah, he literally fell to the ground unconscious. Like,
It's
if
tough.
he's regularly flying between Europe and like California, that's a long flight. That's a long way.
Yeah, you're gonna encounter turbulence a lot.
Yeah, and his solution is just I pass out for 10 minutes. Like, really? That's what you do?
Normally he's laying back in his chair, you know. And
Okay, you're right.
He's taking a nap, basically.
Oh, you just pass
Wait, why
out
was he in the
quietly.
fucking lounge then?
Because he said he was drinking.
Yeah, he was drinking and like reading a newspaper or something. Like, I think it's like a throwaway line from Rhonda where she's like, "Oh yeah, I walked past you and you were reading a newspaper or something," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I definitely was. I was super into it."
I'm now realizing that, like, if this is the case, then that means that fucking Miles Edgeworth, every time he takes a flight, there's like, I'm gonna say a 25% chance he just passes out during the flight from turbulence.
That's
Yeah,
how
that's
he
what
gets
I'm
through those
saying.
long flights.
That's what I was saying. It's like he's taking these like 6, 8, hour flights. There's turbulence. It happens. I
It's like-
fly a lot, and I don't care for it, and there is turbulence.
I'm now curious as of, like, what the state of, like, how much turbulence does the plane regularly get through over a year? And then I want to do math to see, like, a statistic to see how many times Miles Edgeworth passes out in the span of a year.
A lot. I
So,
have
listeners,
somebody...
for your assignment for next podcast
your
do some
homework
math.
is to calculate
is to
how
calculate
often...
the airspeed velocity of a plane and
I
how
travel-
much turbulence it experiences.
I travel regularly with someone who has a phobia of airplanes, and I'm not gonna name names, but this person freaks out every time the plane goes over like a mild speed bump. And buddy, that happens a lot.
That
Like,
sounds... Oof.
it's a lot.
If a plane leaves Virginia at 2 a.m. traveling at...
Yeah. So, that was Turnabout Airlines. Which I think sounded like, despite some minor issues, we all enjoyed that for the most part.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. This case... I thought this case was
just
fun.
the one guy who could have easily not been the way he was. Other than that, great case.
Should have made it French.
So next time we will jump into the third case. So that will do it for us this week, folks. You can follow the show on Twitter at Ace Attorney Pod to stay up to date on our latest episodes, as well as the YouTube uploads of Dessy and I playing through the game. You can follow me on Twitter at Yotseben. Dessy, where can people find you?
Yes, this is Des on Twitter for all of your... Never mind.
No.
Now we need to know. Damn.
No, we need to know.
Now people are going to be curious.
Yeah, now you can go on
You'll
my
have
Twitter
to-
and figure out
yeah.
what the fuck I might have been talking
You're
about.
gonna have to follow Des to find out what that means. Woo!
Ooh.
And Tiago?
You can follow me at Tiago S. Dutra on Twitter, where I don't post a lot right now because I got a new job coming up, so I'm gonna be a little busy.
Congrats.
Yeah, no
you've
worries.
done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a job. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me. I'm passing the baton.
And Rose.
I'm taking the baton. You can find me at Traumarts on Twitter, where you can please buy my art. You can also find me at Traumarts on Twitter again and other places.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We hope that you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform of choice. Apple Podcast reviews really do help us. So if you are able
Even
to
if it's
give
just,
us...
it's good.
Yeah, a 5-star review really does help us in the rankings and the algorithm that Apple has, and it genuinely does help put eyes on us. So we really appreciate it if you do that. Next episode, we will be playing the third case of Ace Attorney Investigations: Miles Edgeworth, titled The Kidnapped Turnabout. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Dudge and the Turnabout.
Oh,
Yep, the
the
Dudge and the
Dudge.
Turnabout.